Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from the Multiverse Network. I am Peter, and joining me, as always, is Connor.
Oh, surprise.
I'm just keeping you on your toes. That's all it
And
is.
yeah, you said as always. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, that must be Matt.
Yeah, that's true, that is a lie, because you missed like 2
The
episodes
last
ago.
regular one.
Yeah, the last regular one. And Matt's here as well, you can hear him muttering over there.
Yep. Of course, I'm always here.
This
Unless when
is-
I'm not.
You only missed one. You've missed one episode out of 30.
Yeah.
This is episode 33. So you've done a good job. Connor, not so much.
Well,
However,
Aye.
Connor, if you wanted to start fresh and have a new slate, this would be the time to do it because this is the first regular episode of 2017. So you've not missed one in 2017 yet. That's
yes, I'm on
that's
track.
that's worth celebrating.
Well,
So yeah,
key word is yet.
we talk about comics. We talk about DC Comics, in fact, and we have a bunch of books to talk about this week. First week of books of the year. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about Justice League v Suicide Squad issue 3, Justice League of America, The Atom Rebirth issue 1, Batman 14, Superman 14, Justice League 12, Nightwing 12, Green Arrow 14, Green Lanterns 14, Death of Hawkman issue 4, and there's another new mini this week as well with The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom issue 1. So that's everything we're going to be talking about this week, and of course there was no news this week, so I guess I'll be nice and ask these two how their week was. Matt, how was your week?
I wasn't sick. I wasn't sick for the majority of it, so that's a win.
That's a big improvement, yeah.
Well, it's improvement over last week, so you know, it's all relative. Connor, how was your week?
Oh, that's alright. I got through most of my books on a reasonable timescale for once.
Oh, that's nice.
Most.
And just a pleasant reminder as well, in my possession I have the Connor button, just in case he gets out of line. I can make "I love Red Hood" appear over his face. I'm pointing out for the audio listeners, just so if they hear Connor get angry in the middle of the show, I want them to understand why. I don't want them to feel left out. The visual viewers, of course, can see his his reaction to it there. But
This is aimed at Peter, not the viewers.
of course. So I'll take that off just now. I want to establish the buttons in play. At the start of the episode. I've not fixed it yet. There's still the little specks that are not meant to be there. I do apologise.
Disgraceful.
That's my bad. Too busy working on other things. Not prioritising properly with the buttons.
You know, Connor, it was my idea to put up a picture of Jason Todd on there.
Oh.
Yeah. Instead of you.
I thought you were on my side, Matt.
I know, but I'm on comedy side.
Well, I mean, you could argue that this is a bit of a Red Hood.
Yes. So that's why.
Connor just referred to his ginger hair as a red hood.
I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, but you could kind of get there.
Let's talk about books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll do for the
Sounds
happy
like a
banner.
plan.
Yeah, let's talk about books. Alright, so we're starting off. The event keeps going. Justice League versus Suicide Squad issue 3. Joshua Williamson and Jesus Merino on art. This is, of course, the third chapter, and it was obviously the quieter issue in that we got over the fight. The fight had ended last issue, and it was the team held captive by Amanda Waller, but she kind of lets them out relatively quickly. Batman punches his way through some guards, and Waller's all, "Took you long enough."
Yeah. You guys know how I feel about Batman, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It makes sense.
And it wasn't unbelievable either. It was a
No.
few soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Batman being Hannibal Lectered up though,
Yeah.
and fighting his way out of it.
Well,
That's kinda
as he
cool.
should. I mean, when he was in the cell at the end of the last issue, he was like bound and chained and like the real major threat because
Yeah.
he doesn't have like the lasso to tie him up with or the red sun rays. So
He doesn't have a weakness, and I mean he does.
yeah,
in
he
that he's-
does. Got a bullet
Yeah,
in the
well,
wrong
yeah.
spot.
He's human, but in a weird way, that makes in this scenario the strongest because he doesn't have an obvious weakness that just cripples him. You know, except unless it just crippled him.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't seem to be Waller's goal here. So
No.
there you go. Well, the first thing I want to talk about the thing. Probably the most exciting moment for me this week was a Superman-related thing in this issue, and I don't know. Matt might know where I'm going with this. So, Amanda Waller sort of fesses up and explains Maxwell Lord and the team of villains that we're seeing him assemble. And there's a big reveal at the end, of course, that they are the original Task Force X. Right, cool, that's nice and all that.
which again is Amanda Waller, a Time Lord. I don't watch Doctor Who, but the fact that she could assemble this team of people that nobody remembers, a little bit fishy.
Well, I think the whole point was it was meant to be covert ops, but this new Suicide Squad is a bit too noisy, and
They're not very good at their jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. I just like it's all these characters that people seem to forget, like in storyline. You know, so even how covert can Lobo be?
That's a good point.
I'm not complaining about it because I know there's going to be a storyline payoff, but it's like, what is Amanda Waller up to? It's more devious than normal.
Lobo's the one that sticks out, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, Emerald
you got a guy
Empress
with a
too,
big giant fiery sword.
Yeah.
It's not exactly subtle, is it?
Oh, Emerald Empress is the big green eye and has Green Lantern like.
Well, no, I don't mean from a subtlety point of view. I mean more from kind of subtlety because Lobo's such a character and likes to shout and scream about what he's doing. But more from he can sort of regrow from anything. Like if as long as there's a speck of blood, he can regenerate from it. So I'm like, does he really care if there's a bomb in his neck?
No.
So
which tells me that there's being the first version of Task Force X. She had more on them than bombs in the neck. And that bombs in the neck became the go-to because it's easier.
Well, I mean, for Lobo, she just has to pay him.
That's true. She can just pay him.
And then
but then why'd she lock
him
him up?
We might find out.
If you just pay him to go away, you know.
Well, we're getting Suicide Squad tie-in issues in the next couple of weeks to maybe explain some of this.
Yeah, so, again, not a complaint story like an actual complaint. It's just more of, as I'm reading, these are the questions going through my head that I'm pretty certain Williamson's going to pay off for.
Now, the moment I was getting to, though, so Amanda Waller's showing the Justice League and the Suicide Squad as well security footage of what happened at the prison, the secret prison where they were all been kept.
In Death Valley.
Yeah. And Maxwell Lord comes on the screen. Superman's eyes light up. Heat Vision is getting ready to come out, and he says the words, "I know who that is."
Yeah.
I was giddy. I was giddy like a schoolgirl when he said that. Him being angry, him being visibly upset when he sees Maxwell Lord.
Well, because this is classic Superman. This isn't New 52, no memories.
Yeah.
This was the one that was mind controlled, and Wonder Woman had to snap the neck in old school continuity.
This is
personal.
And
we know this one didn't shoot Ted Cord, so it's not as bad to me. Because Ted Cord's still kicking around with Jaime down in El Paso. So,
but again, it's
more on that in Justice League.
Yeah, it's that thing that always comes back though, where we keep talking about how everything that mattered before matters still.
Yep.
It still is relevant to what's going on. And
it's the same thing we talk about in Action Comics though, where how he has this relationship with Lex based off his previous relationship with his Lex. It's the same thing here.
Yeah, but when he sees Maxwell Lord, he knows that this is serious because he knows what he's capable of. He knows what happened before in his lifetime. So
because that Max was hiding in plain sight. You know, nobody suspected him, and that's what the beauty of that turn was in Infinite Crisis, or in the lead up to it. You know, as he was plotting all these things, kind of like Amanda Waller does in the background. So the fact that these are the two that are going head up, really. Because this is really the Amanda Waller versus Max Lord show now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super, super interesting.
And of course, they basically refuse to work together, but of course the team of villains actually starts attacking Belle Reeve at the end of the issue, and that's kind of a cliffhanger. We do get another couple of things, though, because Maxwell Lord's after an item that'll help him control everyone. That seems to be what they're implying anyway. And we get this cool thing where he's interrogating this guy in a cave, and the what was supposed to Magneto knockoff called?
Polaris.
Thank you.
Polaris.
He
didn't go to evil medical school for 7 years to be called Mister.
And he's holding this guy up with like metal through his arms and his legs. And it's swords, yeah.
Swords.
And he's just like floating in midair in pain, like crucified with these swords.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty dark.
And also, it looked like they had moons on their faces. So I'm wondering if this has anything to do with the black diamond that holds Eclipso. Yeah. I don't understand how that would make them control everybody, but it seemed like that was the group because they were on this like isolated area. can't remember if it was an island or not, but so yeah. Again, the continuity wonk in me is loving all of this because it's all these characters going into place. Pardon the pun, like a chessboard.
Yeah.
As when Max Lord's in play.
Nah, I think I've seen some negative reviews of this issue for losing momentum, but for me, I feel like it needed to stop, slow down, and establish.
I agree with that. I think my biggest negative is it's a consequence of the weekly schedule that I think the art is a little bit weaker compared to the last two, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Fabic's not on this one, so the art's different.
And then we had Daniel last time.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's not bad, but it feels like a step down. Yeah, it's fine, but we had two. It didn't
bother me. When the story's humming on all cylinders, I can take a ping to the art.
Oh, I can take it. I'm not gonna. It's not like a massive. I'm gonna stop reading it. Obviously,
it's not bad art.
But
certainly,
it's not. But it just felt like a step down. I noticed it wasn't as good as the previous two issues.
Yeah, I like Jesus Marino's art though too. So, but it is of that house style that we talk about. During the New 52.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, I don't find bad with it.
But to be fair, when it's only one or two artists that are doing that style now, it doesn't feel like the house style anymore, kind of thing.
That said, I don't mind having a house style when you're doing an event like this, because it's like, hang on, you've got 6 different artists over 6 issues, and it's got to feel like a one cohesive story. Maybe a house style is for the best.
Is it 6 different artists, or is Fabric back for the final? Maybe.
Maybe he is. I'm not sure. I haven't checked.
I feel like that would be the way it would happen. Month. But, yeah.
Because it'll.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But either way.
I'm kind of hoping though that it seems like they're going to be doing this with the Snyder Capullo event, but since it's there's been billed as Snyder and Capullo, is that I'm hoping all the events after this, because they're planning them out in enough advance time, that it might just be the same artist through all 6 issues of an event, because you're having the lead time.
Getting them out so far in advance.
Yeah, because who else draws like Capullo? Really nobody.
No one does. No.
So it would really stand out. So hopefully that's what they're working on right now.
Yeah, I'd be excited about that if that was how they're going things.
That said, he's doing his monthly book with Mark Miller, isn't he?
For now, yeah.
So he can't be getting that far ahead of it if it's the summer event, say.
No, but let's say he's working on 2. He works on his, and it's only like 4 or 5 issues, for all we know.
Yeah.
So, I trust him. The dude. When he's not lifting, he's drawing.
He is a workhorse, isn't he? So
yeah, he is. So.
Alright, that's Justice League v Suicide Squad issue 3. We're still enjoying the event. I'm excited to see where it goes. The big reveal at the end, of course, that they're the first Task Force X. Makes the stakes a bit more personal for Amanda Waller. I mean, we knew they were gunning for her anyway, but this puts it a bit more perspective.
Well, again, it makes her the bad guy, and it's Shades of Grey. This is how you do Shades of Grey, where I feel like in New 52, everybody was Shades of Grey. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But here, when you have Amanda Waller, that's clearly her own agenda. She's not good nor bad. She just wants what she wants.
Yeah, and I like that moment where she says that she wants them to protect her, and they just start laughing.
Yeah, the Justice League and Suicide Squad in unison all start laughing together. Yeah,
which really again, funny. That was the plot of the movie, and they did not handle that at all. They treated that in the movie like it was supposed to be a twist. And they could have just done something like that early on.
What the funny thing is here, I mean, it's not a twist per se, but it is a reveal. But it's played properly because up until this point, we didn't know that's what was supposed to happen. And she comes out and says it, and then they all laugh, they make a funny moment out of it, and it works. Yeah,
that's because in the movie they were already on the mission, and then it turns out that's what it was. Exactly. Whereas here it's, no, here's the mission, let's start now.
Yeah. And it works. Exactly. Other some highlights though are just when the Justice League are still in their cells and the Suicide Squad come in and they start bantering with them whilst they're in the cells and they're making fun of them.
Flash and
Boomerang. Yeah, that was fun stuff, and even Croc and Aquaman and just other little things like that. Just
what I just love that Flash was like, yeah, that hurt, but it was worth it.
Yeah,
basically Speed Force headbutts him.
Yeah, through the wall. Through the glass. Yeah. It's very good. But there you go, that's the 3rd issue of the event. That'll take us on to Justice League of America, the Atom Rebirth issue 1. Steve Orlando writing, Andy MacDonald on art. This is the first of the 4 one-shots over this month, which is building up to... It's 4 of the main characters, not all the main characters, but 4 of the main characters from Justice League of America, which is starting next month. And each issue...
The 4 newest ones.
The 4 newest ones. And this issue... And each of the 4 issues, I imagine, are just basically going to be here's this character, here's their origin, here's where they are now, so you know who they are going into this team book.
Yeah, and then presumably the book will start with getting them together for whatever reason.
Yeah, and obviously some of it's going to come out of the event as well, which I've already said, and especially since Killer Frost and Lobo are both involved in that, I feel like
yeah,
they'll sort of tie into that as well. So
Killer Frost is getting one, right?
Yeah, she's getting one.
Yeah. Which kind of seems weird, given that they did the Suicide Squad tie-in.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder how late in the process that tie-in was. That was the backup.
That was probably just...
It was only like 10 pages.
It was probably just, we don't have a tie-in for that, or a backup for that issue. Or someone quickly write something.
Yeah, I hope that isn't just like, if it's the same, like, just covering the same ground. I mean, obviously this will be more spaced out and have a full issue, but...
Well,
seems weird.
Hers might not be, though, the same as the other ones, I mean, just in the sense that they might want to pick up the threads from... Then again, it's coming out in the middle of the event, because it'll be out before the event's finished, so maybe it can't be.
I hope it just touches on that she's not actually a villain, she's a victim of circumstance. So
I think so, given the way that Superman spoke to her in the event this week.
Exactly. So that ground's been laid, so...
That said, do we know what week Killer Frost is?
I think it's the 3rd, because Vixen's next, and I think the Reis the last, so that leaves...
Right. So I was going to say, if it was the last, that would be the same week as the final issue of the event, so you could say, oh, this is after that.
Yeah. Well, who knows? They could shuffle stuff around. I don't know for sure. So.
Yeah. So this is the Atom. This is Choi, the new generation Atom, not Cord. Oh, Cord. Not Cord.
Not Cord. Palmer.
I'm jumping into Blue Beetle territory. Yeah, Ray Palmer.
You are.
And it's a story of him going to college and meeting Palmer, who's one of his professors, and they bond over a year of time, and. We actually build up eventually at the end of the issue to the scene from the Rebirth issue, as in DC Universe Rebirth issue 1 way back in May, and it had that scene where Palmer disappeared into the microverse.
Yeah.
And he's like, Choi, I've left you a belt. You're the only one who knows how this stuff works. You've been working with me. You can take this on. I mean, it goes further than that as well. We see his, like, a couple of pages after that too, and we see him decide that he's going to be the Atom, essentially. Yeah. And... yeah, it's just kind of this is who he is. This is the type of person he is. This is how he met Ray.
Yeah.
There you go. I think it's a enjoyable enough issue. I think it's a necessary issue. I think, unlike a lot of the other Rebirth issue ones, these ones are all more important because they are all characters that even big DC fans might not be as familiar with.
Yeah, I never read the Ryan Choi Atom stuff.
Yeah, me neither.
Me either.
So it's nice to get a reset on this.
So I think that these serve a really good purpose in that, for everyone, because everyone knows who Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are, this is, here's these small characters who you don't know, so that when we go into this new book, you understand who they all are, what their motivations are, and it's a nice jump.
Yeah, it means we don't have to waste time in the main series explaining away bits with exposition. We can just, we've had it, let's move on, get the story going.
And the fact that this one deals with that scene from the Rebirth issue, makes me confident that the main book will pick up these threads as well. That it'll incorporate the Atom stuff with the micro. Like maybe one of the arcs will focus on that, and the Atom, the new Atom will
think
work.
It must, because it's not just the Atom, is it? It's still a JLA title.
Yeah.
Which means it's got to tie into the main book more than just his character.
That's what I'm saying though. Is I'm saying
for Palmer,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be an arc where they all work together, and Choi will lead them on this attempt to try and find them. And again, I'd even forgotten about that line he gives them about when he's in the microverse and he leaves them that recording about how there's been a disturbance in the microverse, something's altered things. It's again tying into Rebirth, which is cool. So that's exciting.
Definitely. It was a nice. Well, I was gonna say real quick before we moved on, the character stuff between the two. It established who Ryan Choi was really efficiently. From the scene with his parents and him always wanting to go to Ivy because that's like the best science school for what he wants to do. And even his parents were like, you can study what you want. We studied music. You can do whatever. It was kind of a nice, no, this is who he is and what he wants to do. And even the stuff with Palmer, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, my weirdest thing is obviously this is still... like, we had Palmer in the New 52, right? Because he did some stuff with Shade.
I have no idea.
I'm sure he popped up in that stuff.
Kinda, but like... it wasn't Ray Palmer. It was a character with the name of Ray Palmer, but he didn't act like
that
Ray
that
Palmer.
was the thing. So I'm sure he popped up with the shade stuff, and I was like, huh.
But here, from what I know about him, from like Identity Crisis and even Countdown, which for those who are unfamiliar, after 52, the series came out. DC kept trying to do weekly series, so they did this really terrible one called Countdown that took 52, which counted up to 52, counted down to 52, or counted 0 from 52.
Wait, hold on. It counted down to 1.
Yeah.
To 0.
Right, okay.
Where we
So
saw
was it
Darkseid die.
Was it a 0 issue?
The 0 issue was the last issue.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was really terrible. But the one good thing through it was the hunt for Ray Palmer, where you had Kyle Rayner and Jade, a lot of these lost heroes that didn't really have a place at the time. Were looking for Ray Palmer, and I got to know the character through there and through Identity Crisis. So to see him pop up here, and it felt like the same guy, and they even mentioned his ex-wife and how he still loves her even though they're divorced. There was a lot of that familiarity there that I picked up on.
I do think it's clever that this issue is called The Atom, but it is about both of them. Like, it's introducing both of them to this universe now and giving us ideas of who they both are at the same time.
Yeah,
it's that idea that, you know, like when, like, you can have a book called The Flash and it's about both Flash and Kid Flash. It's not just the one. And
which that's always what DC did with Legacy, was you could have them both still. Like, Wally West was really the outlier for a while because Barry was gone and he was just the Flash. But, you know, for as long as they've had, like, the JSA, you've had Alan Scott and Hal Jordan running around, you know, at least after Crisis. So, anyways, Legacy good, Atom good.
Yeah. I think this issue serves a good purpose. I didn't love it. Like, I think it's a really solid issue, but, you know, it didn't blow me away. It wasn't my favourite of the week by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, but it was a good Rebirth book.
And most importantly, it does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah, it does. That's exactly the right thing. It does what it needs to do.
And I think that it's helped out because there's not going to be an Atom ongoing, right?
No. Well, I mean, they could announce one later, but
but not right now. Yeah, so it's setting up stuff for Orlando's JLA.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Which is why I think it's cool that they're going to pick up. Like, you know, maybe arc number 2 will be Search for Ray with his stuff, or arc number 3 may be that. And I don't know what the other characters are setting up for their stories, but this is the only one I think was teased in the Rebirth issue. I could be wrong. I don't remember any of the other characters.
Yeah, because
I don't think any of those were.
Yeah, this is the only one, which makes sense because I think Johns has always liked Ray Palmer as a character. So, plus if he's investigating something going on at the micro level, then.
I also like it because it makes JLA by extension feel really planned out. If that's building off this, which is building off the Rebirth, it makes it feel like, oh, this story, the ideas have been going since that Rebirth issue. Yeah,
and I can almost see it like maybe there's not an arc where they try and find Ray, or if there is, they don't succeed entirely. It doesn't properly come back out of the microverse or come out of play until the big events going on, and it'll be a tie-in thing where he comes out of the microverse at the same time as the events going down, where there's like lots of Rebirth things happening.
Yeah,
could be
later in the year. I don't know, I can see that happen. I can see Johns maybe planning that out in advance.
Well, I mean, like, look at what is Dr. Manhattan's logo on his forehead. It's an atom, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So, I'm sure one's gonna play into the other.
Well, is Manhattan going to try and do his his poof thing on him, but Atom will shrink down so he can't, kind of thing? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes kind of sense if you have a scientist versus scientist kind of deal. So, like, I'm down for that.
Cool. Yeah. All right, that's the first of the Justice League of America Rebirth one-shots. That'll take us on to Batman issue 14, written by Tom King and art by Mitch. Gerads or Gerads? Is that a soft G or a hard G?
I think it's Gerads.
I'd say soft.
Right, Gerads. Mitch Gerads. I love this issue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did too, and this is where the fight begins because.
No, I'm not fighting. You guys can like it all you want. That's fine. I don't like it.
All right, Matt's going to abstain then for the next 2 minutes.
Oh, I can. Yeah, well, I'll let you guys talk,
right,
and then I'll say why I didn't like it, and then we can move on.
Okay, first
no
thing.
need to yell.
I love how Matt's pretended to be the cameraman when there's a reason why me and Connor are scared of these conversations. There's a reason why we build these
That's
up in our
good.
heads.
That's good. I like that.
Oh dear. So Batman issue 14 is the first of a two-part. I thought it was a one-shot where we get not one shot, you know what I mean, like a one-off story before we got to the next arc. But it turns out it's a two-parter called Rooftops, and this is the first half of it. And it's Batman and Catwoman basically spending the night together on the roof, fighting crimes and whatnot, and having romantic moments. The night before she has to go back to prison, she's getting transferred to Blackgate instead of Arkham for the murders. And there's even a line she drops about she might not have done it. Like he drops a line about that, sort of implying that might not just be the straight case. But this issue, first of all, it's gorgeous.
It is. It's absolutely beautiful.
And I love Janin, and I think I probably prefer Janin's art overall. But the thing that is perfect about this though is that it's fit in a different tone, a different mood. It's like, no, this isn't the adventure we had before. This is a.
It really sells up the romance of it.
It sells the romance.
Well, it sells the darkness of Gotham, and not
darkness of Gotham.
Not like grim and gritty, but it's a city at night. So you're gonna have shadows and tricks of the light and stuff.
And there's a lot of talk about like diamonds in the rough shining through, and there's a lot of that sense in here with the lights of the city.
Yeah, there's a lot of stars.
Look at Matt, he's making noises. He's not shouting, but he's making noises if you say things.
Yeah.
Well, Matt must at least appreciate all the throwaway villains.
Oh my god.
I did. That
Kate
was
Man?
the part that I liked was as the 2-page spread is going, and it's just like fist, face.
Yeah.
And all just the different, it's like Z-level villains. I'm like, Batman, you need to do a better job if there's that many Z-grade villains that you're taking out on one night.
This is date night for Batman and Catwoman who's taking out all these villains. Because they're about to kiss, it's about to get romantic, and the signal comes on. It's like, alright, it's time for stuff. And we see Clock King briefly, and then we get this 2-page spread of them just going around punching various people.
I like that too, because that was the Clock King that's been showing up in Star City.
Yeah, Green Arrow, yeah.
Like the new one. And so the fact, like Emmy didn't take his BS, and now Batman's not taking his BS.
Yeah.
So
I love it was like, I've been planning this for years or whatever it was, and then Cal just comes in and just takes him out in one punch.
Yeah. What I love about that is that Emmy, of course, is very capable, but is not as experienced as Batman. So Batman and Catwoman take care of it like that. It's done. Like, none of this. We're on a watch that makes us addicted to a drug thing. None of that. Yeah. Just you're done. But no, I want to talk about Kite Man, because one of my favourite running jokes now is this Kite Man is really enthusiastic about being Kite Man, and he's like, as he's like not getting knocked out by Batman and Catwoman, he just lands there going, Kite Man, like half, like, you know, he's barely comprehending what's going on.
He's fist pumping himself.
Yeah.
Like,
and then so the page plays out, and he's still lying there the whole time as Batman and Catwoman walk away talking, and at the end of the page, after they've left the frame, it's just this last panel of him going, yeah.
It's hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, that was it. Hell yeah. Like, he's so happy that he got beat up by Batman and Catwoman. He's like, this is the life. I love this. This joke is incredible. Never end. Tom King, you're a genius.
Just the amount he's pulled from. We got Condiment King.
Oh, Condiment. I love Condiment King. He's I know him from Batgirl Year One. That's where I know him from.
Yeah.
She takes someone in that.
Yeah, Condiment King's no Cold Snap, though.
Cold Snap wishes
that would have made this.
Yeah.
If Cold Snap had got a punch in this.
Yeah.
Cold Snap.
Or if even Batman just went, yeah, you're no Cold Snap, and then knocked him out. You know. We also got Signal Man, who I haven't seen Signal Man in years. Like, I'm talking before Final Crisis years. Like, we're talking 8-9 here.
In fact, that's a good point. Let's talk about why this works and why the Justice League thing didn't work, right? This works because the whole point of this is it's meant to be funny. That they're beating up all these, like, no-name villains.
It isn't an issue.
Yeah. Whereas in Justice League, it was like, oh, look at all the greatest villains are coming to get them, and it's Cold Snap.
No, they're not.
Yeah. You know, this is
where
funny.
Cold Snap belongs, in this sequence.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, did you guys used to read Wizard back? Because I know there's an age gap between us.
Nah, sorry, Matt.
Yeah, they used to do the Mort of the Month, and it was like from DC and Marvel, like the Z-grade worst villains. And that's where I would see a lot of these guys that have popped up, like Signal Man, in Condiment King and stuff like that. So it reminded me of that, like the Mort of the Month.
But no, I loved that. That middle part of the issue made it really fun. But then the art just made everything gorgeous. Like, see that 2-page spread, like 1 or 2 issues in, and it's like the extreme Mr. Robot framing.
Or 2 pages in.
What did I say?
Issues.
Sorry.
Yeah.
2 pages, and it's just like, you know, they're talking for the first page or two, and then it's this 2-page spread of them just like embracing each other, and it's right down bottom of the page, and it's just mostly the night sky, the stars, and it's like just gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, and I know this is the artist that does Sheriff of Babylon with King.
Oh, right, okay.
That's made me want to go and check that out now.
Yeah. I've been waiting for it to end, and the first issue was really good, and it's a really noir style set over there.
I know
based
King
off of his.
He tweeted this week saying that Sheriff of Babylon is his favorite thing that he's written at all.
Yeah. Well, it's the most personal because he lived that, and so, in a way, I mean, of course, it's a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a Western noir kind of to it, and I want to go back and check it out. I also want to check out Vision, which is damn near impossible to find though, in like singles, because it blew up real quick.
I don't know how you didn't like this.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's fine, but I don't like King's take on Catman. No, if he wrote Catman.
That'd be an interesting development.
Matt's read a different book from us.
Catwoman. Yeah. I don't like the Cat in the Bat whole thing.
I will admit that's a little bit weird, but I'm getting used to it, and it works for me in the sense that they see each other as who they are, and who they are is the Batman and the Catwoman.
Yeah, but for me, they're Bruce and Selena, and the fact that what makes them work is that they're not supposed to work. That's the one thing that I do
but that
like.
Still works with Cat and Bat.
Yeah, but that's the point, though, Matt, is that Batman's not really Bruce Wayne; he's Batman.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that. I don't agree that she's just Catwoman, he's just Batman, and that's what makes them work. It's the fact that they're both broken individuals.
Well, no, Matt, we're not saying that's
to do. Just that. It's that they think that that's their defining trait.
Yeah, we're not saying that's why they
so
work.
They're gonna call each other it. I don't. All right, Cat. So what? So when they finally do work out a relationship, and they're in Wayne Manor, they're still calling each other Cat and Bat.
I don't think it's any different to having nicknames, though.
I don't like that, though.
Matt, the whole point of this issue.
Hollow.
Matt, the whole point of this issue is that it can't be a relationship. It's a one-night thing. She keeps saying that. I want this one night.
And I get that, and I like that, and that's what makes it work. That's what King gets right, is the I run, you chase me. Like that, I thought, that's fine. But it's the little things that just don't add up for me. It feels hollow. Like the whole diamonds in the, like she's stealing from herself, and the whole, let's throw them down on the roof and they'll sparkle like the night. I'm just like, come on. And
she does also say, use these to open some orphanages. There's a nice sentiment in there.
Let's throw them down so we can have sex on them on a rooftop. Like,
hey,
not rose petals.
This is the woman that he should be having sex with on rooftops. This is okay.
And it's also way, way, way better handled than back in the first issue of the New 52.
Yeah, of course, but it says you don't have a child like Judd Winnick writing it. Nothing against Judd if he is listening. I like most of the other stuff you do. He might. Don't laugh at this, guys.
Nothing against Judd, but you're a child.
But that is how a child would deal with a Batman Catwoman. When I say child, I'm talking like a 15-year-old kid. Starting to show my age a little.
These kids today.
But it was meh. And then I see part 1 of 2, and it was like, ugh.
I go, oh yes, get another one of these.
I have to just sort of counter those sentiments and say, no, I love this. It was beautiful. It was touching. Right. I loved the relationship between the two. I'm not
telling you that you're wrong for liking it. Like, I'm not willing to fight. I get why people like this.
I'm just summing up my thought. I'm trying to move on to the next thing, Matt. Basically.
I got you.
So no, beautiful, touching. Love the relationship between the two of them. A lot of fun stuff in the middle of the villains. and it flowed great. And I'm excited we're getting another one. I hope Mitch here comes back for something else after one of the arcs and does some more with King on Batman. Hopefully we agree more on the next one. Superman issue 14, Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason writing, and Ivan Reis on art. This is the first part of the Multiplicity arc. So Superman is driving for some reason, despite the fact that he's Superman.
Because he's trying to maintain his as Clark Smith.
Sure.
Right, that's his name in Hamilton.
Yeah. He's got to have a life. That means he's got to have a pickup truck. All
right. He's driving, right? He's driving at night.
But Pete, I thought it was weird too because
thank you.
He's Superman. Superman doesn't drive. He flies.
I get that, but I kind of feel like it depends where he's going. If he's going into town.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's nighttime as well, so it's even less.
Well,
or he just misses being a farmer, and he's like, I'm just gonna go for a late night drive in my pickup truck. It's every country song I've ever heard.
It's true.
But anyway, he's driving, and portal dimensional things, monsters, Russian Superman from Red Sun appears.
Yeah.
Earth 30, and
that's not normal. Speaking Russian.
Of course, he helps him fight these monsters, and then this other team led by Superman of Earth 9, I want to say.
Yep.
Like it. And they show up, and there's something hunting down and capturing Superman from all these different Earths, and they're trying to save them.
Doesn't want our Superman.
But that's important, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't want our
I
Superman.
do as well.
Yeah, I think that.
But it wants Keenan.
Yeah, it was Keenan Kong. Yeah, that's what they're after. Yeah, which was cool to bring him into it. And
then when we see, because they're called the Gatherers that they send, so like Russian Superman comes out, he speaks to Superman in Russian. Of course, Superman knows Russian because he knows different languages, and he's like, the Gatherers are coming, and it was super like, it felt like a sci-fi plot of like an old, even like a Twilight Zone. You know, you have this threat coming to pick everybody up.
Yeah.
And they fight them, and they were super creepy. They were creepier than I thought. You know.
Yeah. When you see them take Keenan later in the issue, and you see like the black goo, like sort of encasing him, that was pretty creepy. I thought that was pretty cool.
Because I was thinking there was gonna be like Brainiac or something along those lines.
I also thought it was creepy how they can't spell list.
Yeah. Just the list.
Yes, with a Y.
And I even like, so Tomasi showing that he knows how to write jerk characters well with Damian and Gardner and now Keenan. Because Keenan's response is, no, the only thing on my list doesn't involve you guys, so I'm out of here. It's just the way he flippantly deals with like everything still. Also, as he's looking at the Buddha monuments and basically talking to his dad, and he's like, oh yeah, Dad, you're right. You can't see these in a photo.
Again, talk about continuity and like them paying attention. That only happened in New Superman in the last issue.
Last month, yeah.
Yeah. It's only been 3 weeks since that issue. So
yeah. Also, you know how I said I dropped New Superman?
Yeah.
After this, I can't. I like Keaton too much. I'm gonna have to drop something else.
Do you know what is really annoying? I was looking like there's a lot of books coming next week. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to cut one just so I could get everything done. And I was saying this to Pete about maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
But before I'd read this was the point, and I was like, I'm looking through them. I was like, I think New Superman's gonna have to go.
Yeah.
And now I'm torn. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I love Keenan as a character so much.
Happy problems. Happy first world problems
it is.
right there.
But yeah, as I was reading it going, I know it's not going to tie into this, but I do want to read what Keenan's up to still.
I just love that they planned this out well enough that... Because it'd be easy enough to have him here and just not mention anything about what's going on with him, just so it could fit in regardless without having to think about it. But no, they timed it so that... No, if you've been reading that book and this just happened, he is... thinking about it, it's on his mind. You can see it's still a part of his character that he just went through this, and that's really cool. So that's a cool touch. So Superman basically agrees to join their mission to save all the Supermen, and he's like, yeah, the multiverse. Yeah, I know something about that. Yeah, I've been that a few times.
And it's the multiversity group that Morrison put together.
Yeah, which really threw me off because they did that, and then they immediately threw it away with Convergence. 6 months later.
Yeah, and then they threw away Convergence because it was garbage. That's where it belongs.
Yeah, and so are we just going with Morrison's Multiversity? That's the one that we're going with now?
I think it's both. It has to. It's just like Convergence said that Crisis happened, but it didn't happen. And that's how we got to things. Multiversity happened, but it didn't happen, weirdly, because without Convergence, we don't get Lois and Clark on this Earth.
Ah, yeah, I forgot about that.
So,
God damn it.
Yeah, right?
I have not read Multiversity. I may read it for before the next issue of this hits, just so that I've got a bit more context for this. That said, I think it read well, having not.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's just, this team of random characters, heroes from different universes. It works. I don't really need to know who they are.
But it was cool seeing Space Batman and Superman of Earth 9. I forget what his name is. He's essentially Barack Obama as Superman.
Yeah.
Because he was president of that Earth, and he took down Super Doom in Action Comics, which was another thing that they kind of threw out, was Morrison's Action Comics run from the beginning of the New 52, where that Superman comes from. So I feel like Tomasi's just pulling all these threads together, and this is going to be one of those arcs that ends up being super important to the future Superman.
I will say this though. I think it's not a coincidence that this is the one right before Reborn. I think that probably will lead into that quite nicely.
Yep.
I also think that this storyline could have easily have turned me off, because it is like, this is getting into like Morrison-y territory, and that might have really,
Yeah, he is very much.
But I'd argue it's
channeling the Morrison.
It's good Morrison-y though.
Well, this is the thing: is that Tomasi's a good writer. I didn't feel at any point in this issue that I was like confused, or I felt like they were throwing like too many ideas at me. It was these ideas, but it was told in a very nice.
It was like Morrison for kids.
No, that sounds insulting to me.
Or
so
for the layman.
Yeah,
no, it's Morrison for the layman, because that's my main problem with like we talked about this before. There's an issue of Multiversity which revolves around a living issue of a comic book.
Oh, that was not on the show. So explain what this is.
Before the show. Okay, so in Multiversity, the whole thing is these are little snapshots of what's going on in the greater multiverse that Morrison had set up at the end of Final Crisis. And it picks up on threads from there. One of the threads is what's polluting all the different multiverses is this living story. And in one of the Earths, I can't remember which, it takes the form of a cursed comic. So if you read this comic, it leads the gateway of all the bad stuff that starts to happening. And Dr. Savannah, who's Shazam or Captain Marvel's big bad, there's a army of Savannahs going through the multiverse, picking up where this thing is leaving off, trying to take over. So that's the type of Morrison stuff that I'm just like, oh man, this is too far. But then you get the stuff with Superman of Earth 9.
Yeah.
And how he defeats Super Doom and all this. And that comes into play. And you have the Thunderer, who's the Aboriginal looking guy with the staff. You get his entire story. He's essentially like on an Avengers team, and he's their version of Superman or Thor, and how the part that he plays. So the fact that it plays with comics legends and archetypes, that's the Morrison that I like. And I feel that's what Tomasi's doing here. Because at the end, you see all the different Supermen and Superwomen that have been taken. And one of them's Captain Carrot.
You see these cages, and you see Captain Carrot, who's a humanoid bunny,
right?
And
who's their Superman.
And whoever's capturing them does something to him, and it turns him into a regular rabbit.
Yep.
It's really heartbreaking.
Which I'm glad that's what happened, because I thought they were getting rid of Captain Carrot. And there's still a chance.
No, we can reverse this.
They restore him.
We can't wipe Captain Carrot from the multiverse, sure.
No, because honestly, one day I want a Justice League Animals book with Captain Carrot, Crypto, Streaky. Give us the Green Lantern that's like a squirrel. Chip. Yeah.
Chip and Badge. You have the one that's a chipmunk.
Yeah.
And a squirrel.
Give me all these, and give me Detective Chimp. Throw him on the team. Let's make an Animal Justice League.
You know what's funny is Johns loves the Justice League of Animals, the whole Captain Carrot universe, and so does Morrison, which is weird.
Yeah.
So I feel like that crossover there, but Johns has always joked about writing a series about them, like even if it was just a mini series.
That's what it was. His
he wanted
tease we talked about. It's not actually Watchmen. Yeah. That's just a misdirect. He's doing the Justice League of Animals.
Yeah. Captain Carrot. Yeah.
But the point I was getting at earlier though is just that I think this flows much better than your typical Morrison book where he throws in all these like really straight. Like I started reading Multiversity last night and I fell asleep in the middle of the first issue.
Yeah, first issue's rough.
But
it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
And you have to remember the threads from Final Crisis, the Nick Shuatoan, and all of that too, and the Orrery of Worlds, and
it's
the reason I know all this. Yeah.
Sorry. Morrison's stories tend to make sense by the end. It's just they start with this overload of information and then kind of fills it in as you go along. Whereas Tomasi is doing
the casual reader.
Yeah, whereas Tomasi is going, here's...
Wait, hold on a minute. I'm not a casual reader.
No. When I say casual reader, you went back and went, oh, this ties to Multiversity. You weren't reading Multiversity as it happened, like me and Connor did.
Well, no, but I'd still have the same problems
casual...
with it. My problem is the way Morrison writes these stories.
Right,
I think that's just that's subjective, though, that isn't it? Because I like that whole bombardment of
because everything you said to me, Connor, there I think
I read it, I don't like it.
Yeah.
See, I like that because it's like, okay, here, because I can read the first issue, digest it, and then learn as I go through.
And that's not to say...
That's what I was saying about the casual reader, is you have to know as what you're getting into with Morrison, you know, and you have to accept it. If you don't, then you're going to be like Pete, and you're going to be like, I don't have time for this, I'm going to sleep. But if you're more like Connor, you're like, oh, this is going to go somewhere, I'm going to finish it.
Just to clarify here, though, it's not like it's not like I dislike everything that Morrison writes. There's actually like 3 or 4 things that Morrison's written that I love. It's just, when he gets to his heady ideas, where he's doing like, Multiversity, or he's doing whatever other crazy crap he's done.
How do you feel about like the end of his Animal Man stuff?
I read his Animal Man.
All right. Because that's kind of like low-key Morrison.
Wait.
But it just...
Yeah, but see, my favorite thing he's done is the Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul. Because it was this big swashbuckling superhero story that's completely unlike Morrison. Like, when you think Morrison, you don't think swashbuckling.
Matt.
Brainiac.
Yes.
Probably Brainiac going, talk about me instead of Morrison.
Yeah,
well, Morrison is Brainiac. They're bald.
But yeah, the point I was getting at, though, is just I think it's better written and easier to get into. And it eases you into what it's doing.
Easier to get into, I will definitely agree with. Better written, I'm not entirely sure I agree with.
If this leads to people going and reading all of Multiverse, cool. Because, again, as a continuity wonk, that's what draws me to DC, is their sense of continuity and legacy. And clearly that's what's going on here. Even if it's Superman of Earth 9 and the Thunderer and these new characters, they're still legacy characters because they're Superman archetypes, right? So that leads you back to the bigger haul of DC and what they can do. Then awesome. Yeah. But if it's not, if you want the smaller stuff, it works too.
But
so Tomasi, it up.
I think the big thing I'm getting at, though, with it being easier to get into is, with Morrison, I just get frustrated and I'm like, I'm not following this that well. I feel like it's almost like I feel like he's making me feel stupid for not being able to understand everything completely right away, and it annoys me.
Huh. A Scotsman making you feel stupid doesn't feel good, does it?
Oh, I'm glad that you feel that on a regular basis, Matt.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's me. I'm just saying. How's it feel?
Whereas with Tomasi, though, like, I'm taking it all in and I'm enjoying it and I want to read the next one. It's making me engaged. Whereas Morrison, when he's like that, it doesn't make me engaged. It separates me, it disconnects me from what he's writing.
See, interestingly, that's what makes me want to read more of Morrison. It's like, okay, I need to read more to get answers. Whereas this, it's like, okay, I want to read more, but it'll be the next part. So it's like, oh, I'm excited. But the other one is, I need to know the answers.
I feel like Morrison's writing works better on like TV.
Maybe. They should let him do Doctor Who, like he's wanted to for ages. Just let him do a few episodes of that.
And that's when you get the assassin scorpions, and then we're all screwed because he's bringing them to life. So let's not have him on Doctor Who.
If I have any complaints about the issue, honestly, it would just be... It's not that Superman's driving a car, it's just that the start of the issue, it does just randomly get into it really quickly. It's just... Yeah. You're driving a car, oh, multiverse things happening. You know, there's no scene with him and Lois or something, or just, you know, some... Just easy, you know, in kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it just
makes
starts.
sense.
But
that's like this would fit more into Action Comics versus Superman.
Exactly,
Superman's been a family book. Action's been more focused on certain characters. But that said, I'm happy with all of them right now, so I don't care where I'm getting it.
Yeah, it's a minor complaint, but it's just there's something that kind of stuck out to me as a starting
Plus,
issue.
I'm never going to say no to Ivan Reis on
of course
art.
not.
Even though he did the layouts and Joe Prado did the finishes, it's still Ivan Reis is one of my favorite artists from working with Johns, so it gives it that feeling.
Cool. All right, that'll take us on to Justice League issue 12. Written, what a pleasant surprise this was, because I'd forgotten this, but when I looked at the cover and it said Tim Seeley, I was like, oh, I may like this more than usual. Art is by Christian Duce, so this was essentially Maxwell Lord Rebirth, this tie-in issue for the event.
Yep. Pretty much.
It was Maxwell Lord being interrogated by Amanda Waller, and there's like flashbacks to Wise being interrogated and their sort of history that builds up through the issue, and it ends with kind of a Waller getting pissed because Maxwell Lord's like mind control or mind reading
Persuaded her.
it works on her for a little bit, and she realizes it, and she is not happy.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite thing about this issue isn't actually in the issue; it's what it does for the overall story of the event. Because obviously, we got in the event book, we got the reveal that it was actually Waller versus Lord. That's what the story really is, and this kind of sets up it makes it personal and shows us why.
It drives it home.
Yeah. I think that's oddly falls into the same category for me as the Atom Rebirth issue, where I didn't necessarily love it. It's not like towards the top of my list of books this week, but it did what it needed to do, and it added to the story, and it was solid.
So, I saw some complaints about like, well, why should I care about Max Lord suddenly? And I feel this issue and Justice League versus Suicide Squad showed why you should care about Max Lord. Because a good story can make a villain and make him a threat within the confines. You know, you don't need to seed it so far, to make it matter in the moment. He shows up, he's a bad guy, and now we get, his background.
But between this and then Superman's reaction, that should be enough to make you care.
Exactly. And that's why, and I like Max Lord as a villain. I thought when they killed him off at the end of Sacrifice with Wonder Woman, I thought it was, oh man, such a waste of villain. And they brought him back in Bright Day, and now we get him back for reals. Although I hope he makes it through. I hope Waller doesn't.
He's kind of a scary dude.
Yeah, and he's a great threat. He's kind of a threat in the way that Lex Luthor's not. Where, and I'm not just saying this because on Supergirl on the TV show, Max Lord's their fill-in for Lex.
Well, it was in season 1. Now Lena's their fill-in for Lex.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've forgotten Max exists.
Yeah. But he does things behind the scenes, and he doesn't want the glory. He just wants things to go his way. Where Lex wants you to know this is what he's done and why he's smarter than you. So I feel like DC needs this threat, and Waller. Almost these guys that aren't straight-out villains. They're the shades of gray that I was talking about on Justice League Suicide Squad. And they're much more dangerous than the out-and-out villains.
Yeah, you get a lot with him here. You get some flashbacks to his like childhood and stuff, and the way his mother like tells him to never compromise and never go soft and care about anyone.
Stop being a baby.
It sums up. That's basically what it boils down to. Yeah.
And also, like, I like that the dialogue there with the moms. Like, I don't have time for your nosebleeds and hearing voices. Like, you're gonna go to school. You're gonna knock it off. And I'm just like, man, had she not done that and cared a little more, he could have been like the world's greatest hero. But instead, we get the sliding door of,
It comes back to that thing, doesn't it? Is Superman's who he is because of his parents, and
exactly.
You have Maxwell Lord, who, if he had a nicer mother who actually, raised him and cared and taught him right from wrong, maybe he'd be a nice person and he would be a hero. Yep. But alas, here we are.
But
he's causing trouble.
Again, if Seeley's gonna write Justice League more, like, I don't want it interfering with his Nightwing work, clearly.
Yeah.
But if he jumped to Justice League and we got these style of stories, I would pick it back up. So, because I like reading this.
If anyone wouldn't, I'd call them an idiot.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt if Seeley was on Justice League, we'd all much prefer Justice League, but I wouldn't trade it for Nightwing, though.
No,
I wouldn't trade it. I just think Seeley's got it in him to do both, and he can dethrone Hitch and give us something good.
2 double shipping books, you think he's got it in him for $4 a month?
Well, no, you can drop Justice League to single ship.
Yeah.
Move Justice League of America to double, and there you go.
Well, even without moving that to double, that means you've still got Justice League and then a JLA.
Well, JLA is double anyway, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if they were both single,
saying,
you'd still have.
All right, yeah.
2 issues.
I'm just saying,
Justice
if they want to keep a team book double, you know what I mean? Because I always feel like the new book is the one that could go to single ship quicker than the already established one, because they already have the rhythm going.
Yeah,
so...
but in this case, you'd rather that this drops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes me sort of realise why some of the writers who could be doing a 3rd issue a month, so they could be doing a double and a single, aren't, is because they're keeping them around for things like this, where they've got a tie-in issue for an event, or they've got an event themselves where they can have them do that instead.
Yeah, they're
well, that's where... Go ahead, Connor.
I was just saying that they pull in the talent for the important ones. It really shows you that this isn't a flagship book, because Hitch would have been writing it if it was. It's not. It's like, Hitch, you tell your stuff, whatever, but when we need it, we're having it.
Yeah, no. Well, and it's like what they did with King during the Darkseid War, when he wrote the best issue of Green Lantern in a good long while. So that it made it feel more important. None of the other issues, tie-ins to Darkseid War, were that good compared to that one. So.
Cool. That will take us on to Nightwing issue 12. Tim Seeley, Speak of the Devil, and Marcus Toe on art. This is, of course, continuing the Bloodhaven arc, and we have Nightwing fighting Orca, which, by the way, I love Orca's entrance, because they're all Nightwing and the group of runaways are all in the building, the runoffs, and you hear the rumble, and it's kind of like that whole T-Rex coming in Jurassic Park.
That big boom. Yeah. Is the sound effect, big footsteps.
And we know who it is. Really, this is Orca. This is the heavy.
We saw the cover.
The muscle coming in.
And the last issues.
And the last issue, yeah. So that was exciting. And then all the action stuff with Orca I thought was really well done, really well drawn. Thought the art was on point. A lot of
Orca's a character that in lesser artist hands could look really stupid, but I think that Toe made her look great.
And do you know what I think is even more impressive? As well as that, makes the the gang members that have the Orca masks.
Yeah.
They still look really great as well.
Yeah.
What are they called? The Whalers?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. The gang name. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And also, I like the misdirect of Orca just being a pawn. She's not the Keystone figure. There's more to it. And I like
we've got this red devil looking dude at the end in the motorbike.
The false face. They said something about the false face, and that's Black Mask. Well, that used to be Black Mask Gang, or the False Face Society. So I don't think it's going to tie into Black Mask, but the fact that they're using, again, it's like Bloodhaven and all of these other things that used to meaning something again.
Yeah.
So I don't know who this Red Mask dude is, but it seems cool enough. Obviously, Nightwing is kind of accepted by a lot of these runoffs now, and they say he's one of them, and they realise that he's kind of breaking away to be his own thing as well. And we get to know a few of them a little bit more. I can't remember all the names quite yet. One's called Mouse. There's the cowboy looking one.
I like how one of them has a chipmunk that does its bidding. Sends the chipmunk, with the headphones to take down Orca. So also, I didn't know Orca's origin until now. That she was a marine, biologist that spliced her genes with an orca smartly, because comics. But
to be fair, if you're gonna splice yourself with some sort of animal to give yourself some cool, strength and stuff, Orca's not a bad choice.
Of course, I just didn't know that was the actual origin.
Me either.
Yeah, Matt would obviously go with a bear, but I mean that's just Matt.
Oh, duh! How do you know I haven't?
Now you mention it.
That's
what
I'm thinking as well.
Now you mention it.
I like to sleep and I like to eat. What is there more to being a bear?
But no, so I thought it advanced everything. Nightwing has a couple of interesting conversations. He has one with the tourist woman who's putting him on billboards.
Which that was a great line too, where she speaks fast, and then you turn the page. She's like, "And I hang out with the Flash."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, and this woman speaks fast, and I'm used to hanging around with Barry. This is. That was a good line. Also, his conversation with Mr. Nice is his name, the guy who's kind of running the runoffs. And I'm still convinced he's the villain.
Yeah. His name is Mr. Nice.
It seems the obvious one, doesn't it?
It
But
does.
so we thought that about Orca too. So I like that there's many layers to this, and what got them to trust him is that he really does care about Gorilla Grim and Defacer, and believes in them wanting to change their lives. And I like that because that's Nightwing believing in hope.
And they're doing the best they can with Mr. Nice to make us think that he might actually be a good guy, because he gives us his backstory and why he's doing this and why he's helping them and whatever. But I'm like, nah, this still feels like just perfect for a swerve.
Oh, they're with him, right, when Orca attacks, and then he's not there anymore, right? I read this last night and I was very
I don't
tired.
remember him being there at all for that scene, but I could be wrong.
But you know, if you're doing the accounting for it, then he's not there.
I think it says a lot about this series that I think this is one of the it's an average issue of Nightwing at this point. I don't think it's a great issue.
I would agree. I'd say that the last one was probably more of a perfect, well-rounded issue, and that it gave me an exciting cliffhanger with, revealing Orca. It gave me Nightwing forming his relationships. It gave me a lot of different things to get into. It gave me a cool flashback. This one was really solid. But
it was still a good issue. And I think that speaks to the quality of the series overall, that this is one of the more level mediocre issues in comparison.
I would use it. Well, I think mediocre's got a negative. I'd say typical. This is a typical issue of Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah, mediocre's not a word. Talk about Justice League, we'll bring up mediocre.
I mean, I don't mean mediocre in terms of everything. I mean, in comparison to its own series, I think this one is just there. It just sits there as mediocre. It doesn't do anything special. It's not anything bad. It's just the next issue.
So it's a comic, and that's fine.
I would still avoid using that word. I feel like that's unfair, but let yourself out. Yeah. Did you fact check?
Yeah. Sorry, I got caught up in the conversation.
Oh my god, you're the worst. That deserves a button.
Uh-oh.
Well, now I'm turning this one-handed. Well, why didn't you fact check, damn it?
Because you said you were. I was going to, and then you said, I'll look at it. I was like, all right, he's doing that. I can talk to him out and cover the air.
Well, yeah, but then I wanted to talk.
Anyways, no, I'm going to fact check because I already have it loaded.
No, we can't all fact check. The whole show's fallen to a shambles.
I'm sorry, guys. It's kind of my fault.
I'm just going to sit here on my own and just talk for 5 minutes while you two find
that's
things.
Pete's dream, isn't it?
Well, if you hadn't given such riveting conversation, this wouldn't be a problem. Either way, I'm just flicking through it. I don't see him.
There's a lot of backhanded compliments I'm getting this episode.
You are.
I know.
If the conversation from you wasn't so riveting...
Yeah.
This is what it feels like to have a Scottish person outsmart you constantly.
I think it was more Matt's side of the conversation that was riveting, I'll be honest. But,
How's the button again?
Anyways, next issue.
That'll take us out to Green Arrow, issue 14, Benjamin Percy writing, and on art, because I got it wrong, because Comixology told me the wrong name. Connor, who's on art?
We have Eleonora Carlini, Carlos Rodriguez, and Gus Vasquez.
Yeah, so Comixology, you suck for not telling them the right names.
Yeah, they got that way off.
Yeah. There was a good 5-minute discussion there about this name possibly being wrong, but it's their fault. I'll maintain that. But anyway, I really like this issue of Green Arrow. This picked up from the last one, where of course Oliver was at the football stadium and the assassin, the arrow killer that everyone thinks is Green Arrow, killed a football player. Ollie fell into the field trying to intervene, and well, I mean, you get an angry mob of fans who all want to kill him now, basically. And meanwhile, Black Canary's dressed up as a cop. She's infiltrated the police station, and she's looking at evidence and whatnot. And she's there, and she hears over, the other police are all like scrambling. We need to go to the football stadium. This is Green Arrow's assassinated someone, and she goes with one of the other cops. There's some fun banter with her.
She goes with the chief.
The chief. Yeah, they have some fun banter in the car, especially when she basically drops who she is at the end when they're on the roof, and she's like, yeah, and he's like, Black Canary now, and he's like, shit.
Yeah,
basically,
she'd give her the name Officer Canary.
Canary,
yeah. I thought her stuff was my favourite of the issue.
Her stuff was the fun. Her stuff was the really fun pulpy stuff that was making it like really move and feel energetic. The Ollie stuff looked great. All the action kind of stuff was there, and he's chasing this killer. And when they get up to the roof, and I like how the whole issue is kind of this one big event though, of like it just follows on from the last issue, and it's all I wouldn't say real time. But you can't really have real time in a comic. But you know what I mean?
It's the chase through the stadium as he's trying to apprehend this Dark Archer.
Yeah, he's chasing him through the stadium.
And like Dark Archer's.
Well, Canary's in the car chasing with the police to get there. Everything's momentum. Everything's moving. You're right. That's kind of thing.
What got me is the Dark Archer plucks an arrow from the air and uses it to stab somebody.
Yeah, that was badass.
Like that's the most Percy's written a lot of cool stuff. That was probably the coolest.
That was really
in a good
cool.
long while.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Oh, that's another one they'll blame on you." Like that feels really evil.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So obviously, as this is all going on, though, some of them are noticing there's another one, and they realise they don't assume that Oliver's innocent anymore, but they do notice there's another Archer, and they're chasing them off, and they ends up on the roof. Police are up there with Canary. Canary helps, and we get a reveal of who this Archer is, who the killer's been this whole time, and he used to be Ra's al Ghul, you know.
Yeah, well, not in this continuity.
No. It's never happened in the comics, to my knowledge. But I'm making an arrow joke because he was in the show. Malcolm Merlin is the killer. Yeah.
And so what's cool is that they took Merlin the Magnificent and his ties to the League of Assassins and all of that fun stuff. And then they took the stuff from the show that worked. You know, that he's Tommy's dad and he has a history with Ollie. And Percy made it work cohesively. Unlike trying to force it into show continuity like they have before.
Well, I feel like Percy's done a lot better job with it. I mean, like Diggle's been around, and that's kind of fit fine.
Yeah, Diggle's felt fine in this run for the most part.
Yeah.
We had a couple of issues maybe in the first arc where it was cutting to him in another country doing something else, and it felt kind of disconnected. But since they've been together, he's felt fine. And
what's cool too is this whole time, always thinking it's Tommy. So when he finally catches the Dark Archer, and turns is like, nope, not my fool of a son. And you're like, oh, it's Malcolm. But it doesn't look like
John
the TV version. Yeah, which would have been cool if not, but it looks like traditional Merlin the Magnificent, which
I still couldn't help though when I read I'm Malcolm Merlin, and I used to be Ra's al Ghul, you know. I hear it in my head now.
I am hearing John Barrowman's voice in general.
So is Barrowman still on Arrow? Because I stopped watching.
He's on Legends more so now, but he pops up.
He's got a contract that lets him on all of the shows, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be. He's on the Legion of Doom on Legends of Tomorrow.
Gotcha. I think I caught up on that.
That's been pretty good.
Yeah, season 2 that's been pretty good. Season 1 rough, but season 2 pretty fun.
But so he gets away, and the cops kind of realize now with the captain there that maybe Ollie's not at fault for all of this. The big still kind of is.
Well, the big thing is that Ollie sacrifices himself. He jumps in front of an arrow to save the police chief.
Oh, that's right. That's pretty major. I spaced on that.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah. So that's how they basically deduct. Okay, right, fine. He's not been the killer. He's on the
up and up.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all cool and all, but Malcolm does escape by going onto a blimp.
Yeah.
So he wins the issue.
Well, yeah, sure, but we're not at the end of the story yet. This is.
No. I'm just saying.
But the fact that I never remember his name, the Ollie's nemesis that took over the company.
Oh, I can't remember.
Broderick.
Yeah, Broderick. The fact that Broderick has reached out to the League of Assassins, because League of Shadows is the above them.
Yeah.
Coming in detective. Yeah. That's pretty major. So it's tying them together.
I will say the art still looked really good in this one. It wasn't as good as when we have Schmidt or Faria on it, but I
still look good.
It looked good, and I think again they did a good job of kind of emulating as best they could Schmidt's style. It felt like they were still trying to have the same similar kind of lines.
To be fair, until I was looking at it now, I didn't realise there was 3 different people on art.
Yeah, I didn't realise that either. So that's good.
Sometimes you have 2 and it feels jarring when it changes, but I don't know where the changes are because they haven't listed pages for each people like sometimes they do.
Which makes me think it wasn't so much pages per page, it was more
team effort of things.
Yeah, like one would do layouts and then someone else would come in and fill in parts.
Yeah, because obviously you got hi-fi listed for colours, but there's no penciler and inker stuff listed. It's just art for the 3 of them.
Yeah, but like I said, they did a good job of emulating Schmidt's style, so it didn't feel like a big difference from last. You can tell. I mean, Schmidt's looks a bit better. Don't get me wrong, but it's not this miles away difference where you're going, oh, this is jarring. I can't. So
No, not at all. Also, you know, I just realized that Percy's writing Teen Titans, and we got stuff going on with the League there, and now he's writing Green Arrow, and there's stuff going on with the League.
Maybe
there.
Emmy might jump ship into the Titans at some point.
Which all I've been wanting is her and Damien
Yes.
together.
So
imagine when
what we've
Merlin shows up.
established- We've established
Go
that Percy loves werewolves and the League.
Yes.
Now
League
we
of
just
Werewolves?
need that crossover.
Are you thinking?
Yeah.
Are you thinking League of Werewolves?
I am.
The dude from what was his name? Lauron from Supergirl. The Kryptonian werewolf gets out.
You can be the leader.
We can have werewolf. You know, the one Batman punched out in Batman.
That too. I forgot about him.
Aye, because we all remember him when he pops up in League of Werewolves.
Yeah.
Hey,
But-
it's League of Werewolves. You got to have one called Werewolf.
I want Damien like talking
Wait a
down to
minute.
Merlin.
That would be like having the League of Assassins and having one character on the team called Assassin.
I bet one
DC's
of them
done
is
it
called
before.
Assassin in a
Yeah.
different language.
There was that whole Spider Guild that was a part of the Assassin during Red Robin years ago. That had members like that, so I don't put it past them.
Continue.
But what I want to say
Continue.
was, I just want Damien talking down to Merlin for being beat by Green Arrow. You know, like, that's
Yeah.
all I want to see. He's like, he's a fool. He's been trapped on an island. If that was me, I would have finished it, and I'm a kid. Like,
I almost kind of want Damien to do a world tour where he like spends an arc in each of the different solo books with different characters. Like he comes to Star City, hangs out with Green Arrow and Emmy for an arc.
It's you know how Batman and Robin, when he died, they did the Batman and you had the guest stars come in. I want a Damien and him going around and doing that. Yeah.
But better than that, because that's where Batman and Robin lost me in that run.
Well, yeah,
but
kind of spun it.
I've gone back to read them, and it's actually pretty good.
It gets a lot better.
Yes,
It gets better after again.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
That bit is a bit slow.
I don't think I ever
but you
went
get
back.
Batman and Frankenstein and Batman and, you know, there's some fun stuff worked in there.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just it's probably the weakest part of the run.
Yeah.
Well, that's a Green Arrow. Good fun. We tangentated into a lot of weird things there, but Green Arrow was good. Solid
that's
action
because
pack.
Percy would want that. He loves werewolves in the League of Assassins, so
He would
want us
approve of
tangenting.
this talk.
yes.
Alright, that'll take us on to Green Lanterns, issue 14, Sam Humphries writing, and hopefully I got the artists right on this one. Eduardo Pansica and Ronan Cliquet on the art.
Yeah.
And this is the end of this arc, the Phantom Lantern. It'll be the end of the second trade, I believe. I've been paying attention to the trades this past week. I was sort of looking at them and seeing what they included for curiosity, seeing how they split things up.
Slightly shorter than this one, just 5 issues.
Actually, no, the second trade's longer because it's 7 issues. It includes the 2 Halloween issues.
Oh, of course, I forgot about that.
Which are preludes to the Phantom Lantern, basically.
And they definitely fit more with this art than they do with the previous art.
It does. I just thought that this one said part 5, and I looked at it, so I was like, okay, it's 5 issues, but I forgot about
Yeah, you need to think
Halloween
outside the
bits.
box a little bit with these because they
do,
have a lot
I
of
do.
like 1s and 2s in between arcs. But anyway, so yeah, this wrapped things up, and it was a pretty good conclusion. Obviously, I think the highlight of the issue is Jessica putting on the Phantom ring, and it cycles through all of the emotions, and then we get that great like splash page of her saying, "I'm a Green Lantern." This is the one that it picked for her. It doesn't matter what she thought. This is what she is, and she
I love
finally.
that you just have the Green Lantern symbol just all over the background of the page.
Yeah, and she makes
And
constructs.
she makes,
Yeah.
like, and they're not anything of note, but she's controlling them.
It's basically
It's
a
almost
lot
like
of
confetti.
yeah, it's a lot of snakes because they look like lines, wavy lines. A lot of,
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
afterwards it looks like a web when it's got him like tied up against the memorial.
and Simon.
So she's learning. And,
Simon calls her Jaybird. He's like, "Hey, Jaybird,"
Yeah.
when he's impressed.
which he's just so awkward. I take that as Simon. Like, I'm gonna try to give her a nickname.
Yeah.
But
I love when she's so happy.
I
though,
like
after.
too when it's. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say when she cycles through all the different ones and her eye thing changes, you know, to each of the different colors. And I thought that was real cool. But all the payoff when you turn that page, and she is a Green Lantern, and now she knows. So her doubt
Yeah, that is absolutely the
It's
standout
fun.
moment, I think, of the issue. Big emotional climax, because we've been building to it since the start of the run, not even just the start of this arc. Her finally sort of gaining the confidence and realizing, accepting that she should be a Green Lantern.
I'd say it goes further. Some of this was happening in Justice League as well, towards the end there, where it was she didn't think she deserved it then.
Oh, true, but that was kind of, she just got the ring at the end of Justice League, so like it's always been part of a character. But I just specifically mean that since this series started, it's been very specifically she does not think she deserves this. She doesn't think she's up to it.
Yeah, and like you can see it on her face when it does settle on Green. She's so shocked
and happy and relieved.
But she's happy after. But then there's that moment, like on that splash page, she's just shocked, and then she goes happy.
And it's great. It's a great big moment.
Well, it also plays off of her ties to Volthoom, because when Rami does show up, and he says about that, and so there's some ties there too.
Well,
and Simon,
you say Rami.
Well, let's wait. Let's not give that away yet.
All right.
Because Simon grabs the ring too, and is curious to what it would be for him. So I like that.
Yeah, I like that he decides not to, at the time as well. I mean, it's partially that he gets interrupted. Like, if she hadn't said something, would he have put it on? But then he does decide not to anyway.
Well, I think that's what works so well with Jessica deciding to put it on, is that she takes the leap. She takes that jump.
She needed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's terrified of what one it might tell her she is, what one it'll pick, but she does it anyway. She takes that leap, and that's something that even Simon hesitates to do.
Right, and she has the willpower to take the ring off.
Yeah.
Whereas Simon's more, he wants, could this make him stronger?
Right.
Whereas for her, it's more self-validation.
Right. And also, Lominsky and his craziness. I hope he gets out again.
Turning to the Indigo Tribe for a good chunk of this issue. Yeah.
Which is the first time he was like one of the more mellow Lanterns. And still doesn't learn. You could put all the compassion into him.
Well, yeah, because
he's still...
Because as the Indigo Lantern, he realizes, I should take this ring off. But then as soon as he takes it off and the spell of the Indigo Tribe wears off, he's like, wait, what have I done? Give my ring back.
So now they literally have a Schmigel/Gollum character in Green Lantern mythos. Is he just wants
surprised it's taken this long, really, when you say it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, precious.
Yeah, and he wants it, and as he's tied up against the monument, and he's just freaking out. He wants his ring back.
But I kind of love that once he's tied up, that you don't see from him again for the rest of the issue. They just ignore him. Like, just whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's Lominsky. That's what he does. That's his entire arc, is he's always been neglected. Yeah. And then Vath and Isamot show up, which was good to see them, but they're kind of jerks, man.
They are. They basically come down and go, what, this is an issue? Hal's busy. We're all busy saving the universe. You little punks can stay here on Earth and deal with your own problems.
It was almost like in a cop movie where the FBI show up and it was like, you need to get control of your stuff. This is not FBI business.
And then
they take off.
Then the president shows up and goes, come on, guys.
Yeah.
So that never happened. Well, I suppose it kind of did, because I suppose Rami, but Rami, of course, the twist here at the end of the issue, and I knew the twist was coming as soon as it got
away from him, it was like, okay.
It was that the panel at the bottom of the page where you see his eyes, and you can just sort of tell he's up to something. That's not really him.
Well, when he showed up, and I was like, well, he was in a battle of life and death last time we saw him.
Which obviously sets up the
weird
idea.
If we didn't pay off.
Because he just sort of casually says, yes, I defeated Volthoom and he's in this orb thing now. But it turns out, no, it's actually the other way around. Volthoom has turned into what looks like Rami, and Rami's trapped in the orb. And so Volthoom as Rami is going to, quote-unquote, train the Lanterns.
It should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be. That should be the next big arc. Yeah.
Because Volthoom in of himself isn't a bad guy. He's a tragic character. So I'm wondering if this is going to be almost a validation, where
it's like he wants to prove that he's better than the Guardians. Yeah.
And even if he somewhat succeeds, they're still going to eventually find out what he's done and that he's got Rami trapped, and that'll
of course
cause conflict. So, I thought it was a fine, solid conclusion to the arc.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my favourite issues are still probably the baking cookies and Halloween ones.
I agree. I really like those, but in the actual the main arc, this might have been my favorite because I really love that moment at the end with Jessica. I thought that was so well deserved that it kind of works for like the entire arc.
Yeah, Jessica's almost
hell
great.
Seed.
The only other one that I maybe like more in the main arc is the Leminski issue, where it was just following his life.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Because that was really well put together.
But it's become Green Lanterns that I want to read.
Yeah, I was just there. Think about how we were for the first arc, and you can go back and listen to that, and Jesus, this has come so far.
He's working the kinks out. I think Humphries is comfortable now. He has the characters.
Oh yeah, we got rid of the Red Lanterns, and it got better.
Yeah.
So
I'm still wanting to see how Jessica's going to deal with like Larfleeze, if he ever shows up.
You still know those Red Lanterns are coming back though, because they never resolved that.
I'm kind of hoping that by the time they do, this will have found its groove so much that we'll roll with it and it'll be fine. I just think it was a bad choice to start with it.
Yeah, I almost see, but if you started with this instead, you don't get that great moment of Jessica.
Yeah, this pays off better because it's
like it needed something else at the start, but this still needed to be where it was.
Yeah, going through another arc first makes the payoff with Jessica at the end of this one a lot better because it doesn't feel like it's just been, like I say, it's not just the start of this arc. The start of this entire series has been hard with these feelings, so it pays off a lot better.
She's slowly climbing my ranks of Lanterns. She's pretty close to Gardner as it stands now. As a character,
she may be my second favorite.
Yeah,
if not third, certainly.
She's certainly climbing up.
Yeah,
I went back and read New Frontier, and I realized I like Hal more set in that era, where he's the pilot, and I feel he's kind of like lost now when Johns isn't writing him, because he is such a relic of a certain time.
I feel like with him trying to be the leadership role and stuff doesn't really work as well for him.
He works as the guy that's going up against authority, not as the authority.
Yeah.
So, it's good that we have these two Lanterns, which are completely different than Hal in every single way. And that's, I think, why I like Jessica so much, is that she's earning basically her wings as she goes. And I hope they don't pick up on those threads that Johns did. She's going to have the Stark turn. Because I'm gonna be heartbroken.
If they do, I think it won't be as obvious as that. In this case, maybe it'll be Volthoom.
Stop making noise, man. I seen that look as you noticed what you did.
It was my hand hit my mouse pad by accident and it flipped a little. I have a hard plastic mouse pad. So.
Dear.
Yeah, it would be more like him leading her down a path, and she thinks she's doing the right thing, following the Guardian.
Yeah,
that's just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this dark path will be because Volthoom's the one driving her, and then well, it'll be a swerve and it won't be exactly what we thought it was, so that'll be cool.
But
that'll take us on to Death of Hawkman issue 4, written by Marc Andreyko and Aaron Lopresti on art. Obviously, this is 4 of 6, which I think we've all been enjoying for the most part.
Yeah, this one really sped up the story, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm still. I think the banter between the two characters is good.
Yeah.
They go to the Sparrow's home planet.
Yeah.
And they do a bit of investigating, see what he's doing, and we find out what the Sparrow's actual kind of game plan is. He essentially steals all the nth metal out of the moon, and turns into this uber version of the Sparrow with this nth metal mech suit at the end.
Because we all know that there's a psychic link between the Thanagarians and the nth metal, and all the Sparrow's powers go around, mental stuff and psychic. So the added threat of him having this suit of armor now, that was a nice choice, because the whole issue leads you to believe that he's building this gigantic Z-Ray for an army, and it's not. It's for all the nth metal.
Yeah, he transports he transports all the nth metal from the inside the moon to him, his body, essentially.
I love that you just see the moon explode.
And again, this is where Andreyko nails it, because you get that side of Hawkman that we never see when he does like the last rites on the people. And Strange is like, I never paid you for religious. He goes, yeah, there's a lot you don't know about me. And then as the moon's raining down on Thanagar City, and he's just like, oh, my people. I like that you're getting that other side of Hawkman.
Because if you remember, we always start each of these issues with present day. Like, all this is actually like the backstory to the present day stuff at the start, and this actually ties in nicely to why he's so determined in these like present day things. Why they're so determined to get to where they're going to stop this. And it's like this issue does that because it ends with him saying, "I'm going to." Well, I don't know what the line was. It was
I'm
like
gonna
break
kill
that
him.
bastard's neck or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the
Not
whole
believe
thing's
him.
been a revenge story for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And two, it leads him down that path. So this is it. If this is the death of Hawkman, then it's going to be a well-earned death because he's going to avenge Thanagar and Ran. Like I can see him at the end being the hero of Ran and Thanagar, and it's his death that brings them together because of what he sacrificed. So, and also the don't go in there moment, and Strange does to all the bodies on Calidor. Yeah. So that was another like. But yeah, this is turned into be one of my favorite miniseries of the last couple of years, just because the way Andreyko's writing it, and it feels all on its own, you know.
Yeah, it feels on its own, but at the same time, you get that it fits into the larger universe as well.
Yeah, there's nothing about this that says it's not in continuity or anything like that.
Well, no.
If anything, you'd argue that it is, given that they talk about the JLA team and.
Yeah, they mentioned the backstory.
See, we got that early on where Strange is trying to get there, and he goes to Cyborg and all the different.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
there was
you
that
got
tie,
it even as recently as issue 3, I believe that starts. Where he's in the bedroom. And he said, and they talk about how you must have gone through all the teammates first before he bothered with him.
Yeah, but
that's good.
Definitely enjoying it, and the art's fine. And yeah, I don't think I'm ready for the next 2 issues though, because they're gonna build Hawkman, which I didn't really like. I liked Hawkman, but he's not like a character I care about. But you're building him up to have this glorious death. It's gonna hit.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah. And also just the whole mech suit there. I say mech suit, it's more of a suit of armor. That's just so comic booky that it's hard not to appreciate it.
Yeah.
God, and I hope he does kill Despero because I hate how powerful Despero is. Yet he gets taken out by 2 people usually. So I like that they build him as a proper threat. So.
Alright, that'll take us on to our last book of the week, which is also another mini, but it's a new one. We're going to talk about The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom, issue 1, which is written by Cary Bates and Greg Weisman, and art by Will Conrad. So this is Captain Atom, and the premise of this is that he is, like, fellow scientists and the government are trying to, like, contain his power and, like, test him, and he has some kind of event where he can't control his power, and he has, like, a sort of a meltdown type situation.
He's unstable.
He's unstable.
Yeah, I think it's just like he's sick essentially. Like, and instead of sneezing, he explodes in bursts of radiation.
Energy.
Yeah.
And so we get a plot here where this is important. It's set like in I think it's December 2012.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
it's interesting.
So it's set during the New 52 because at one point the Justice League from New 52 show up, including New 52 Superman, which is really weird. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm sure there's a reason why. Maybe there's going to be a time jump later, and it'll come to present day.
Whoa.
And that's
I feel
why.
like that's likely.
Here's the thing with Captain Atom. Every time I've read a story with him, everyone thinks that he explodes and dies, but he just went somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I have the feeling that that's the thing, is he's going to go to a different time or a different universe in the multiverse. And
well, this is what happens at the end of the issue, is that he explodes, they think he's dead or whatever, and we see him wake up somewhere in another city.
In like a decimated city.
Yeah.
Or a decimated area where he is, at least. The cities around him seems alright.
So, that's fine. Honestly, I did not like this issue all that much. I was kind of struggling to stay awake as I was reading it.
So here's what I just figured out, is I didn't finish this one, but I knew how it ended based off of not finishing it.
Well, yeah, but this is what I think is interesting, because I quite enjoyed this. And while Matt's right, that is always the story. That's the start of this story. It's not the end. It's
but
what
that's every Captain. That's every Captain Atom story.
Sure, but I want to know what happens next, because it's also, he hasn't just teleported somewhere else as Captain Atom. He's a normal person.
When he wakes up at the end, he looks like a normal person. That is a good point.
He's back to being Captain Nathaniel Atom, ADAM, because you gotta love comics.
But here's the 2 main issues I have with this book. One is I have a hard time caring about Captain Atom just in general. I think there's not a lot about him that I think is that interesting.
Well, here's the whole thing. He's Doc Manhattan. Like when Alan Moore wrote up Watchmen, it was based off of the Charlton comics characters.
Yeah.
So like, Blue Beetle, all this.
He's super dry.
Dr. Manhattan.
The book feels super dry to me, and it just like I had that problem, and then the other big issue I had with this issue specifically is that they do this thing where it starts in present day, and they mention, I had an incident today, and they mention, some of the Justice Leaguers had to show up or whatever, and then it cuts back, and we see this story, and it felt really weird to me. I didn't just play it in the right order, because when the Justice League show up, because they play this moment as if, there's two beings approaching you on radar, they're coming in fast. I'm like, well, yeah, you already told me the Justice League showed up, so here they are.
Yeah, I agree, that was a bit weird. Also, I'm just looking at the ending. It does actually tell us where he is.
Okay.
And there's a newspaper in the bottom corner. I think it's not actually that it's decimated. I think it's more like it's a scrapyard that he's in. And we see it's the Kansas City Star, but interestingly, it's dated 1994.
All right, okay. All right.
So so he's gone into the past.
Hit the red hood button, Pete.
For what? I'm giving you info.
If you wish.
Because now you made me want to finish it. Because that is 0 hour time. That's 1994, and 0 hours where all the timey-wimey stuff started with DC.
Yeah.
And that's what caused the Legion to get out of sync with the rest of everybody, and the whole Legion lost, and all of that was 0 hour. And also the whole Armageddon 2001 story, where Monarch was supposed to be revealed to be Captain Atom, but they got cold feet at the end and made it Hawk. So I'm wondering
if this is changing that a bit.
Yeah, if this is going back to traditional, storyline of the DCU.
I have to admit, I never noticed the year in the newspaper. I noticed the newspaper.
Yeah. I just thought, actually, it kind of just crossed my mind. It's like, hang on, that's a front page of a newspaper. It must be a date on it. I was like, I wonder if, assuming it had gone to present day, actually, honestly.
Yeah.
Damn it,
And
Ginge.
then I looked and it said 1994. I was like, that's interesting.
Nah. I'll be honest, even that doesn't super get me that excited, just because I didn't enjoy reading it, is my problem. Halfway through I was like,
that's why I stopped, because halfway through, like Pete said, it was very dry. It was all these technical terms around science, which usually I don't mind, but it was reminiscent of Snyder during 0 Year explaining electrical engineering. It was just like, I don't need all of this. Just say Batman fixed it.
Well, we can't just say that, because then you'll go, how does he just do everything, Matt?
No, because in 0 Year it was established he was the only hope, and so it's built in, Yeah.
But either way, I enjoyed reading it more than you two. Clearly, I was kind of into it.
I'm going to go back
think
and
it was
finish
amazing.
it now, because.
But I assume, Matt, you're not going to commit to issue 2.
Probably not. And if I do, I probably won't talk about it. It'll just be something that I read when I get to it, kind of like Vigilante. And, unless Connor tells me issue 2 is like, oh my god, Superman just at the end.
Well, that would be a twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right? Oh. And it's mullet Superman from 1996,
So as well as traveling back in time, he's gone to that Earth.
Yeah. Because it's all about quantum. And from what I understand through my very cursory knowledge of quantum entanglement and all this stuff, it builds on subatomic levels. And
it's all linked.
And everything's linked. So realities and string theory and all this other science buzzwords, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what they're playing at here. And then if you're talking about that, you have the maybe Rip Hunter and Booster Gold in play.
Oh, that's how you get Matt to come back into this. Booster Gold.
This is just turning into this weird list of wants from Matt. This is all this is becoming.
Because everything's at play, though. Because this is supposed to be important in the grand scheme of things.
Is it?
With continuity-wise, that's what I've been hearing the writer and DC talk about. There's a reason why it's coming out now.
Well, see, now you just made Peter think he should read the next one, because he's a sucker for that. But that's the whole thing. I don't, man. So am I, though, and that's the thing is, once you said 94, and what that means in DC continuity, is that's when all of the stuff that led to this now started. Was around that time.
I think I'm willing to just let Connor tell me what happens in the next issue.
That's fine.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think it was amazing, don't get me wrong, but I definitely didn't have as much of a problem with it as you guys. I agree with your complaint about them telling you about the Just League. Kind of deflated the tension of the moment.
Yeah.
So it was a bit weird, structurally. But overall, I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Are you reading issue 2 then next month?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, okay. So, Fall and Rise of Captain Atom will be continuing to be covered here, even if it is just Connor talking about it. But if it ends up being important, at least we'll know about it, because Connor's told us. So,
Yeah.
Good. Alright, that's the end of the books. That's all the books for this week. That'll take us on to our favourite of the week, favourite books, favourite art, favourite cover, panel, whatever, all these things we do. Panel it's kind of tough because there's a lot of things from Batman that I'd love to pick, but honestly...
We all know what yours is Kite Man, hell yeah.
That's number 2. That's number 2.
Oh, okay.
Number 1 is Superman. I know who that is.
Oh.
Nothing else comes close.
From Justice League Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and Justice League v Suicide Squad. There is no single panel this week that made me sit up and go, oh, like that one did.
That
so, easy pick for me this week. Easy pick.
So mine, I'm going to jump up. Also involves Superman, but it's from the main book. And it's just because it's always one of my favorite things, and when Superman gets mad enough and his heat vision kicks in. So as the Gatherers are attacking him in Soviet Superman, he asks him, he goes, do you have heat vision? As he's firing his up. And it's just, that was a fist pump moment for me. Because then they unleash it on the Gatherers.
Those are both great panels, but I'm going to have to go with Batman. I'm going to have to go with that big splash page, 2 pages in, whatever it is, of just them at the bottom and the night sky. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, Sam Esmail would be proud of that page.
Yeah.
If you watch Mr. Robot, you'll get joke.
It, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about... Let's do covers before we do art. Let's do cover. Cover is the next thing. Before we talk about the best cover, I want to point out a weird thing about the Nightwing cover that... It's not actually an issue, because...
You're going to ruin it for all of us here.
I'm just saying, right...
It's the lips, just like Birds of Prey. He's got a problem with Orca's lips.
No. Right, so see when you're actually looking at the cover and it's full, you've got the actual book in front of you, you've got it full screen on your iPad or whatever, right? It looks fine.
Sure.
You can see what it is and it's fine. See when I see the thumbnail on Comixology, like either on the site or when it's small, it looks very sexual, is all I'm saying. It looks like Orca is pedal driving Nightwing.
See, now you've said it, I can see it.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a package pile driver or a regular pile driver? Because it's a pretty crucial differentiation.
Because I can tell you what it is. Because
dear, it does. I did not pay attention.
I looked at it like once I noticed this, I was like, wait a minute, does that look right? It's because part of the muscles on Orca's legs, when it's small enough, look like it might be Nightwing's legs wrapping around him or her, and it looks very sexual. And once I noticed this, I couldn't unsee it. And I wanted to bring this up.
That looks like a jackknife power bomb in the worst way possible. Wrestling fans will understand that.
But it looks super sexy. Because the art is good. The art itself is good. But it just... When it's smaller...
Yeah, it cannot be unseen now, though.
Yeah. Look at it. That's Nightwing issue 12. Is the cover... When they do the porn parody, they don't even have to change anything. Here's the cover.
No. Actually, they'd probably turn it to make him face the other way. And it would look even worse. So...
Oh, God.
So, serious answers?
Cover of the week, yeah. This is what we're on. Batman 14 for me.
Yeah, I'm going with Batman as well. I think Stephanie Hans is incredible. Her work is gorgeous all the time.
Yeah, the shading on it, particularly in the colours, the shading is really good. All that.
She did an entire issue of Wicked and Divine, where it's all set in like the 1800s.
All right, okay.
Just incredible.
But very emotive. It is very much like a painting you'd put in the wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like that. Matt, what's your
I think it looks weird. I'm gonna drop that there. Mine's gonna be from Superman with the different Supermen lined up, and it's done cover. Done in the like minimalist colors. You're only getting black, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
It looks like an infinite line. Just looks great.
For a joke, Matt, you should have just said Nightwing.
I should have. I thought about it, but it didn't ring true after just looking at it.
Because this is why I was looking at it. I was thinking about my cover of the week, and I was just glancing at them all again, and I was like, oh, maybe Nightwing's a choice. And I looked at it like, wait a minute, what's she doing to Nightwing? Oh dear. Okay, so art of the week. Art of the week. I'm going to be quick here. Batman wins.
Yeah, Batman.
I'm going Green Arrow because I didn't realize it was 3 people until we sat down.
That's
so
fair.
That's commendable.
No, that's credit to that because it is very cohesive as the 3 of them.
Yeah, Batman's just. Not only does it look great, it's like it's working for the tone of the issue. You know, this 2-parter is about this specific thing, and this adds to that storytelling. Whereas, and it's different from the other arcs, and it benefits because of that. So I think that's a really smart choice.
Yeah.
And obviously all the colours work great. It's all blues, maybe nighttime, very moody and tone-like. So, yeah. What's yours, Matt? Oh, you said Green Arrow. Sorry.
That's a Green Arrow.
Yeah,
Green Arrow. Yeah, just because we didn't realize it was 3, and plus the reveal of Malcolm Merlyn, and it wasn't John Barrowman. That was
what
cool.
were you hoping to just Photoshop John Barrowman into the?
Well,
be
because
fair,
when they introduced Felicity, it was just Elizabeth Bett Richard, like in comic form. So they didn't even try not to make it her in the New 52.
Yeah.
And here, it's Malcolm the Magnificent, and they're tying it in.
The thing is, even if it had just been John Barrowman, I'm not sure
I
I
would've
could
liked it
complain
anyways.
that much because
Yeah.
I love John Barrowman.
Yeah,
So
he's pretty great.
He's the Ra's al Ghul, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll take us on to top 5 books of the week, which we all like to do. And Batman's number 1.
Of course.
Hey, this is only the second time in the history of the entire show that I've picked Batman.
Yeah, I know, but as soon as I read in the Mild Fuzz group, Peter had read Batman, I was like, it's gonna be one of those weeks. It's everything.
Batman's number 1. Justice League v Suicide Squad is number 2. And then Green Arrow at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then Superman at number 4. And Nightwing at number 5. Those are my top 5.
Connor, you go next.
sorry, Matt, it's Batman.
Yeah.
Not 1. Then I'm going to go Superman. I think then I'm going to be a little bit different and go with Justice League because I think while I enjoyed the event issue, that actually kind of furthered it a bit more on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that more interesting. 4 will be Green Arrow, and then 5 Justice League vs. Suicide Squad.
So now I'm going to get to play Stephanie Brown here and make Superman number 1. Should come as no surprise, right?
I love how he gives us shit for picking Batman as if it's obvious, and then he's like, I'm going to shock everyone here and pick Superman as number 1.
Yeah, right?
It was a solid
the
number
fact-
2.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a solid number 2.
Yeah,
Talking about Batman, right? And then number 2 is going to be Justice League vs. Suicide Squad. Because like Pete said, that panel of Superman, I know him. And that was pretty great. And then 3rd, I'm going to go Justice League. 'Cause like what Connor said, it was, expanded Max Lord a little bit more and played in real well with Justice League Suicide Squad. 4 is going to be Green Lanterns. I enjoyed that entire arc and Leminski, Jessica having her big moment. And then 5 is going to be Green Arrow. Yeah, I'll go Green Arrow. As much as I like Nightwing, I think Green Arrow stood out a little bit more.
Do you know what's interesting is we're getting like further and there's more books, and the great thing about having books that we're all liking and there's so many books every week is that the top 5 actually means something because we're cutting away books that we still like.
Like that was a tough choice for me to keep Green Lanterns out there. Like I was so close to putting that in at 5, but
Yeah,
it just
I
missed
also
out.
wanted to put Death the Hawkman because I really enjoyed that issue too.
Good, but
So
now making the top 5 actually really means something because there was a time when it was we read 5 books. Here's a top 5. It's just
it was just the order of them.
yeah. Whereas now it's like no, there's a threshold and they have to get in there, and it means a bit more now, so that's cool. It'll mean a lot more next week.
as well.
Yeah, because I'm just getting to that. We're going to have a lot of books next week. So coming up next week, we have, of course, the 4th issue of Justice League v Suicide Squad. We have the second one-shot for Justice League of America, which is Vixen Rebirth, issue 1. We also have all of these. I'm going to list these off very quickly.
yeah,
Detective Comics 948, All-Star Batman issue 6, Action Comics 971, Wonder Woman issue 14, The Flash issue 14, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey issue 6, Supergirl issue 5, Superwoman issue 6, New Superman issue 7, Titans issue 7, Deathstroke issue 10, and then on top of that, if Connor somehow is still able to, after all those, Connor's Corner will include Suicide Squad issue 9, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps issue 12, and unfortunately, where's my button?
Bing!
Unfortunately, Red Hood, Bizarro, and Artemis have not become a team quite yet.
No,
But they might. It's the conclusion.
yeah, and I know you said, depending on how much time I have for the Connor's Corner, I will guarantee the Suicide Squad one, because that is
Me
a
too,
tie-in.
because I'm
And
reading that too.
What?
Red Hood's a punishment. You need to read Red Hood.
Well,
It's not a punishment. It's a self-imposed, I have to read this.
yeah.
Also, though, the variant cover for that is actually kind of hilarious for Red Hood.
I need to have a look at it now.
Now,
It's Jason with a Batmobile wheel and Bizarro with the entire side of the Batmobile.
I will add
That's
this.
kind of funny.
I will add this to this as well. Since I'm not doing the Connor's Corner stuff,
Well, actually, that's the real cover, not the variant.
and since I'm also not doing Deathstroke, I will promise you that I will have also read Justice League / Power Rangers issue 1 as well next week, which isn't part of the DC universe in the traditional sense, so it's not something we have to cover, but I want to give it a try, and also I'll read that and give you some thoughts on that as well next week.
Peter will also promise to get through Multiverse.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold him to that.
I knew that was. I thought I was just going to stay there, but worth it.
Alright, so that's what's coming next week. So it's a really big week, but you know what? It's one of these things where, yeah, it's a lot of books, but I'm looking at that list and I'm like, you know what? I am excited
It's a
about
good week.
Yeah,
But
almost
this is my
all of
problem.
us.
This is why I was saying, okay, I need to cut something from next week because there's so much. And New Superman, barring Red Hood, which obviously is a different thing, New Superman was my weakest one there. And I like that book.
Well, first of all, it's annoying that Titans is this week because that was always week 4. It's moved for some reason to week 2. Honestly,
The last one yet.
if it wasn't for the new artist in the New York, All-Star Batman would probably be getting the shaft.
I'd definitely be reading. I haven't read the last one yet either, but I'm definitely down for
good luck.
I'm
Good
so excited
luck.
for this new arc, though, of the one-shots with all the villains. We've got, I think, is it Jock and Freeze
Mr.
next?
Freeze first, yeah, I think.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to all these coming up. So
I'm hoping they're better, and I feel like they could be because they're one-shots, because they're not convoluted messes. They should be fun.
yeah.
And at least it's shock art without the witch's horrible coloring, I hope.
Yeah, I don't think it has the splatters because I've seen a few preview pages.
Good.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I didn't hate that, but sure.
I mean, it got a little bit
this-
over the top at times.
Yeah,
By
yeah,
the
yeah.
end, it was getting in the way.
Yeah.
But,
Also, obviously, there's a few of the Rebirth trades coming out still. They started hitting this week and next. I think we've got Aquaman and Batman and a couple of others coming
I
this
think
week.
Superman was this week.
Yeah, and Green Arrow, I believe, was this week. I'm sure I saw
Okay,
that.
cool. Yeah, so, and as we just in case you didn't watch the end of year annual that we did, where we talked about the best books of the year, we did talk about the trades a little bit and how they're doing trades pretty frequently, but they're doing deluxe hardcovers every 2 trades. So Volume 1 and 2 of Batman, for example, will become Volume 1 of the deluxe hardcover, and that comes out at the same time as the 3rd trade. So that'll be towards the end of the summer. You're going to start getting the deluxe hardcovers, just in case you want to wait for those instead and not double,
Yeah,
triple dip.
I think the first one that I've seen is the Action Comics one. That seems to be coming out early July. I think July.
Yeah,
That's the Amazon date, but obviously comic shops sometimes get 2 weeks before, is it?
2 weeks usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason for that as well, because the second trade of Action Comics is get 2 less issues than all the other Volume 2s, so that can come out a little bit earlier, which is why the Deluxe is also hitting a little bit earlier, so it makes sense. Interestingly, that's going to include 4 issues of Action. It's called Back to the Planet, but the 5th comic that's in it, it's going to include Justice League, I think it's 52, the Lex one, from just before Rebirth. It's going to include that, and which makes sense.
It does make sense. It adds a lot to that arc, I think.
So I wonder where the Justice League Robin issue, I wonder if that'll pop up anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where, but maybe somewhere.
If it becomes relevant anyway.
I like that Lex issue's there because it's all about him buying the Daily Planet just to get the cape.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that goes into the Daily Planet stuff. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that's what's coming next week. That's the end of this week's show. We had a good week, a lot of good comics. We didn't fight too much about Batman. Too much.
Because I've learned to pick my battles.
I like that, Matt.
He'll fight when Batman really does something he doesn't like.
Yeah.
In like a month's time, probably.
Here's the thing. I'm thinking though. Yeah, obviously, if you watched our Best of the Year or listened to our Best of the Year show, you know, should I spoil it just in case they're saving it for later? What we picked for best book?
Just go ahead. It's more of a tease than a spoil.
Sure. Okay, right. So, in case if you've not listened to that one yet, then spoilers that we're about to mention what the best book was. But we picked best series of the year went to Superman, and I was just thinking the other day, Connor. Right, that was easy this year because we agreed that Superman was the best book. But come the end of 2017, what if other books have surpassed Superman?
Yeah, we're gonna have to fight.
The chaos that will ensue.
Well, hang on, Matt. We'll have had a full year of Trinity by that point.
That's true too. Manipul keeps it up.
So
just keep the author who must not be named away from that book, and we'll be fine.
I think that's a safe bet, to be honest.
Oh, I mean, he had his called Dark Trinity. That was the name of the first arc. So, I don't even want to think about it.
Oof. Shivers down the spine.
Exactly.
Well, that's the end of the show, guys. Let us know what you thought of this week's books in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Regardless if you're on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, your podcatching app of choice. Either way, it helps us out a lot if you do. And get us on Twitter. Individual Twitter's on the screen if you're on the YouTube. And the, of course, group Twitter is @mild_fuzz. So you can get us on there too. And yes, that's pretty much us. So thank you very much for watching. And always remember, never get lost in the Speed Force.
Long live the Legion.